All right, we are recording, so we'll have this for folks that were unable to join us live. I appreciate you all jumping on. It is time to get started with our Power Hour session. For those that are just coming on, if you haven't yet, go ahead and see if you can get your video turned on. It always helps, makes the recording better, gives me better feedback as well, and lets everybody know that they are on a team working together, and it's not just a bunch of boxes with names on it with nobody on the other side. So the purpose of Power Hour, if we've got some new folks that are just jumping on here from folks that just recently joined the business, Power Hour is for you guys. It is for you that are just getting started. It's for you that have been in the business for a while, still figuring this thing out. It's for you guys that have it figured out and looking for some extra tips and tricks to be able to pass on in your trainings for your teams. And that's what it is. That's the intent. It's also for folks that if you have just joined and you have some questions, it is for you guys. This is ideally built for folks that have been launched already. Launching is right after you get enrolled. We want to sit you down, make sure you're clear on what the next steps are, and lay those out, and then Power Hours to go into more detail with that. It's also there for you guys that have questions that, 90 minutes is just not enough time to get everything nailed down. It's kind of like golf. I like to tell people you can explain golf to somebody really quickly, but after that, then they're going to need some assistance and some extra to figure out that game, and the same thing goes with what we do here as well. So if you have any questions, this is the forum to ask those questions. I want you to interrupt. I want you to raise your hand or just unmute the phone and get after it. Actually, don't worry about raising your hand because I'm probably not going to see you because this will get on to 2 or 3 pages and I won't be able to see you raise your hand. So you can also put it in the chat session if you have any issues with your microphone or don't have one. And then for everyone to know, this is also going to be recorded. So you can share this out. You can go back and replay it, get some information out of it. Maybe you didn't quite get the concept and you need to see it a couple more times. That'll be available as well. So with all of that preamble, for y'all that don't know me, my name's Casey Salgi. I appreciate you all being here. And let's go ahead and open it up for any questions that anyone might have. Who's got some questions for me this afternoon?
I have a question, Casey.
Yes, Sarah, go right ahead.
Okay, so I've already had a person watch the webinar that Spencer Wynn did the other night.
Uh-huh.
And then now I think he's an A. Asked him, but he keeps on mentioning he wants more information.
Okay,
But
then that means he's a B.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
So, he has already asked other people, like if he should do it or if they would buy it. And a lot of people are saying that he would be their customer, but he wouldn't be a partner or anything like that.
Okay. What's the question?
I guess you do have a question. I don't know who to lead him to because I've texted Miles several times and hasn't gotten back to me. So I don't know who else I need to lead him to.
Okay. Have you worked with Ms. Tanya on this one?
Not specifically with this one. No.
Okay. Well, that's who you would reach out to, and that if you can't get a hold of Miles, then Tanya is in she's your senior business partner, right?
Yeah, she's right about me.
Yeah. That's who I would reach out to first off. And then what you need to do on that is let him know that every time he goes out and he's trying to explain this and ask a whole bunch of questions, he's probably not doing it right because we have a system and he hasn't gotten that portion of it. You can invite him to take a look at these Power Hours if you'd like, and let him know that, it's not just about getting started in this thing. It's about once you're started, what happens after that in the training. So I would definitely have that chat with him. And then if he has any questions and he's just not quite sure, I mean, he's already doing the business. He's just probably not doing it in an optimum fashion. But yeah, absolutely. Next step is he's not an A. An A is all in right then. They're ready to go. He's not. He is a B. He's a but. He's got questions, but this, but that, but that, but that. And that's not a problem. It's just he's not at a point yet where he's gotten all the proof that he needs. So he's looking for more proof, and get him to Miss Tanya Holmes, and she'll be able to direct him to or give him the proof that he's looking for is what I would suggest for next steps.
Okay, because he's already talked to Miles.
Okay.
And he told him to watch the webinar, and Miles was supposed to get back with him. So I should just pass him along to somebody else then?
Yes, I guess is the best answer I got for you. If you can't get Miles on the phone, you can either wait for Miles to get back to you, or you can reach out to another person in that situation. I would suggest, and that was why I said reach out to Tanya, and then either Tanya can call Miles up as his mother-in-law and say, "Hey, get on the phone," or she can handle taking care of the call. The thing is, he needs information, is what it sounds like. So he hasn't gotten what he needs, or he would. Here's the next thing: have you asked him specifically after you watched that video? Are you ready to get started, or did you have more questions?
Yes, I did.
And he had more questions.
Yes.
Then you need to get him somebody that can answer those, and that's going to be your next steps there.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. And here's the deal. It's not a matter of not wanting to chat. It's a matter of just sheer bandwidth is what he's running into right now.
Okay.
And so when that's the case, try to get somebody in between on that to have that chat, or keep bugging him and bug him on the hour until he gets back to you. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Excellent. I'm glad I was able to answer that for you. All right. Good first question. Let's see who we got on the chat session. You are super sweet, Rosalie. I appreciate you posting that out there. You're absolutely welcome. All right. What other questions do we have out there? As I always say, it's going to be awkward if we just sit here and look at each other. I bet there's some questions out there, though. Who's going to jump out of that comfort zone first? All right. If you've got any questions, feel free to put them out in the chat session. I've got two topics that I wanted to talk about if you guys didn't keep me busy, so I'm glad I have those ready. The first one I want to talk about is on the customer gathering side. I like to circle around to this. I know we talk about business partners a lot, and business partners are absolutely a very powerful way to build a huge organization. But I don't ever want anybody to lose sight of the main reason that we are here, and that is the customer side. If you don't have customers, you don't have a business. That's just all there is to it. You've got to have customers in this business. We are a customer acquisition company. That is our sole purpose. The reason that Kyani pays us what they pay us is for the acquisition of customers. Okay. Now, again, we're not in a sales organization. We are in a marketing organization. The website handles the sales side. Okay, so what we do is we drive customers to Kyani. We drive them to our website. We do that by making recommendations, pointing to information, pointing to samples, pointing and constantly referring them to information. Okay, what we are not here to do is be the information itself. Okay, and that's going to be tonight's theme, is making sure that everybody understands it's not about you being the information person. That's not what you're here for. You're here to be able to point them to the information. Now, there could be an information person. It just doesn't need to be you. And that is a very key component about what we do. Y'all have heard me talk about it. If you've been to any of the power hours before, any of my trainings, I talk about a person needs two things before they'll make a decision. They need trust and they need proof. Sarah was just talking about somebody who there's obviously a level of trust there that she's been able to have a conversation with. And the thing that's lacking right now is enough proof for that person to take action. They've got a lot of good information. They don't have all the information that they need. They need something still, or they would have taken action and jumped right in. All of you, for the most part, here online looking at this thing have had enough trust and enough proof that you have taken action or you're about to take action. So you've got what you need, and that's why you guys are here. But you always want to remember how you came about getting to this point. And sometimes we will forget the history of how we went about something because something happens between the time that we did it and present day, and that is you've gotten a lot of education. You've learned a lot of information. We've got a new app out there called Kyani Pro. There's a lot of education that sits inside of that application. There's a lot of onboarding information, a lot of product information, a lot of great stuff that's out there. A lot of people are information junkies. We like info. That's why the internet is so popular. We like being able to get out there and find any piece of information that we want. Sometimes it's difficult to find it because there's so much of it out there that we have to sift through it until we can find what we're looking for. And so what I want to make sure everybody's clear on is you aren't the internet. You are not the server. All right. You're not the web page. You're not the back of the label. That is not your job. You are in marketing. The marketing person is the one that tells the story. They're the one that makes you feel good about the story. They're the one that makes a recommendation. They are the trust people. Their job is to have your trust and to point. That's what we do. If you're doing it right. Now, can you go out and sell this thing? You sure can. You can go door to door if you wanted to, and you could sell this thing. That's not the intent. Now, that's a way, that's a process that you can do, but that is one that most of you would not be big fans of doing. We're a whole lot better at pointing. Now, what happens is when we first get started, and especially if you've been successful in the beginning and then maybe it slowed down a little bit, is most of the time what happens is in the beginning, you didn't know anything. So you followed the system out of necessity because you weren't able to give the information. You didn't know enough. And y'all felt weird about that, or you still do. You don't like not having the answer. Anybody ever forget to study for a test and show up on test day? Remember the anxiety level of that? Remember how bad that sucked? We didn't like that. There were consequences to that. Here, I'm encouraging you to not worry about being the information person. It's not about you regurgitating all of these fun facts and figures and sending that back out to somebody else. We've been brainwashed into that's just what we do. That's not what we need to do here. You won't be successful in that. And that's why there's a lot of people that get frustrated about this business. We want to be able to be that person that knows all of that. All right, we got a question on here. How do we better explain when someone asks us to tell them about the stuff we are selling? So the question is, how do we better explain when someone asks us to tell them about the stuff we are selling? First thing I do is I educate them. I'm not selling you anything. I'm making a recommendation. Okay. Now I'm going to go back a couple steps to that. Is a great question. And I'm going to, that's my intent here is to dig into this so that everybody's clear on what we need to do. I want to set the mindset of here's what we're trying to do. And I want to give you the specifics, and the specifics are going to be real easy because if you do it this way, it's extremely easy. When you go into the conversation, when you are having an interaction with another person that you want to become a customer, what your intent needs to be is not to be the person that's giving them that info. Your intent is to be the person that knows the person that can give them that information. You want to know a guy. You don't want to be the guy. Okay? You want to be able to point. You want to be able to offer up. You want to be able to influence. You want to be able to point to the guy. You want to be able to get them into the right spot. You don't ever want it to be about you. Here's why. When it's about you, you will get to a point, if all goes well, that you can't keep up if it's about you. A process that is dependent upon a single person is a very bad process. It will not scale. This business is about duplication. You cannot get out there. You almost can in this business, which is so cool about our comp plan. You can just about go out and do it yourself just with customers alone. You could make so much money per month just on your own personal customers. I mean, if you sat down and extrapolate what $15 per customer would do, and you went out and got about 600 customers, and you just looked at it from that perspective, that's pretty nice money. And then you start factoring in the bonuses that we have, the residual income that would bring in, all the parts that come into it. I mean, you can make a 6-figure a year just on customers. Okay. But what I want you to do is I want you to think a whole lot bigger than that. I want you to think about a system where it duplicates to a point where you don't ever have to be the guy at all. That's the idea. You want to get this where there's so many customers that come in that you can decide if you want to keep building, if you want to keep putting in distribution points in your organization. Has anybody ever sat there for the end game? Have you ever sat there and extrapolated this thing all the way out? Do you want to do the grind forever? No, you want to have so much money coming in that you show up to, some of the conventions, you shake some hands, kiss some babies, maybe do a speech and let them bring out another check with another zero in it each time. Yeah, that's cool. But you want to build this in such a way that it's not about you. And I'll give you a little hint. If you don't fix that in the beginning, it gets really, really tough to fix it later. You got to make it about the system. You got to make it where somebody else is the thing. Okay? So with all that said, when you reach out to somebody, going back to Sarah's point, what do we do when we're having a conversation? You got to set your mindset on where you want this conversation to go. It's like you're going out for a hike in the woods. You need to know where you're going. You might not know exactly what tree you're turning left at and the other bush that you're turning right at, but you got a general direction on where you're going. And you need to have that when you start up a conversation with somebody. Now, as information is revealed to you, will help you determine which direction you're going to go. So I'm starting with the rapport. And for our new folks, there's 5 big steps that you need to focus on. First one is your why. Next one is your list. And then once you have your list with each one of those people on your list, you're going to do 3 things with them. You're going to build rapport with this person. And what that means is you want to get an answer to what is their hot button. What is it that they're interested in? Are they interested in wealth? Are they interested in health? Are they interested in time? Are they interested in beauty? Now, when we find out that they're interested in health, then we're going to go down the customer path. So that's the one that I'm explaining here now. Once by a conversation that you're having with them, you're just trying to get information from them. Do not start your conversation with a sales pitch. You're not here to be a salesperson. You're here to be a marketer. You're here to make recommendations to them. To make a recommendation to them, you got to know what they want. If you approach this as you're trying to sell something to somebody, your first intent is you're going to start telling them about what it is that you've got. Here's the problem. They don't care. Why don't they care? Because they're going through their day the way that they're going to go through their day. What's important to them? If they're thinking about doing their taxes and they're thinking about a baseball game this weekend, they don't care about what you're selling. We're not trying to sell it to them. Do we want there to be a transaction? Yes. Are you doing that transaction? No. The website is doing the transaction. You are trying to point them. You're trying to get them to that area. So when you go into this right off the bat, you got to understand your intent is to recommend them to a place that we want them to go. But first, you got to find out what they want. And when you ask the right questions by having a conversation, or you talk long enough with them, they will screw up and tell you what their hot button is. When they do that, then you want to verify that. You pique their interest. When they say, how you doing today? I'm doing okay. I didn't get much sleep last night. Oh, really? Is that something that's been going on for a while? Yeah, I've been dealing with it. Actually, been dealing with it for about 2 years. Oh, goodness gracious. That's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that. You taking anything for that? Or are you doing? Well, yeah, I've been trying some different stuff. I tried Lunesta, I tried Ambien. I don't like them though, and I don't sleep that great with them. And then I wake up and I'm not really rested. Man, that is terrible. I'm sorry. And you've been dealing with that for 2 years. Yeah, yeah. Wow. Hey, what I'm hearing you say is you'd like to fix that. Is that right? Well, yeah. And they might be thinking and adding on, yeah, dumbass. Why else would I do want to fix that? They just told you that. They're going to be nice. They're going to say those words, but they want to fix it. Of course they want to fix it. But you got to ask the right questions to make sure that it goes through and it sticks into their brain. So what I'm hearing you say is you got a sleeping problem and you want to fix it. Yeah. Well, why? Of course. But why are you asking me that if I want to fix it? Yeah, I want to fix it. Do you know something? Do you know somebody? You got some information? That's what's going on in their head. We're enticing them. We are marketing them. First thing they say on a radio, on a commercial on TV is, do you suffer from blah, 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 blah? If you don't suffer from that, you keep looking at your phone and wondering why the heck you can't fast forward through this stupid commercial to get back to the voice or whatever it is you're watching. And then you realize you're a goofball and you're watching it live and you didn't record it. So you're sitting there, it's like, why is this? And then when you hear that, are you suffering from such and such? I am suffering. How did you know? They have your attention. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever, the TV isn't asking you those questions to get that answer. They're just taking a shot in the dark. They're trying to sell you something. If they can nail it right out of the gate and you're suffering from that thing, cool. Otherwise, the other 99% of the population could care less. And now it's an annoying commercial. But the way we do it, when you're having a conversation with somebody, they're going to tell you, or you're going to ask some questions about how they're doing. How's the family? How's your job doing? Have you been on any trips? Oh, you haven't been on any trips? Why is that? Oh, you've been suffering from this? Oh my goodness. They will give you that information. And when they give you, it's a customer related thing. What you're going to do next is you have a couple of options. So what I'm hearing you say is you want to fix that sleeping problem. Is that right? Yeah. What do you got? When they say, what do you got? You have two choices. You can be the guy or the girl that gives them all the information. You can say, well, let me pull out my encyclopedia here and explain everything to you. For the next 30 minutes, I'm going to tell you about blueberries. Who here has done that before? We call that throwing up blueberries all over your friend. Don't be that guy or that girl. What you want to do is you want to be the one that's the influencer. You don't want to be the one where it's about you. You're too busy. You want it to be about the information that they're going to get, not about you giving them that information. You're going to say, here's the deal. I got a guy. What do you mean you got a guy? I got a guy. Can fix that. Peek and pass. Don't peek and puke. I like that, Sherry. That's pretty good. We'll see if we can get some t-shirts made with that. That's pretty funny. So what you want to do is you want to pass that to somebody else. You want to point to the information. You don't want to be the information, because here's what's going to happen. Some of you want to be the one that knows every single thing about this. So therefore, you're going to take 6 months and try to get a PhD in the triangle of health and in the fluoresce. You're going to say, I just need to learn a little bit about this. And the next thing you know, it's 6 months later and you're knee deep in stacks of reams of paper and research that you've done where you know all that. So instead of that, you want to point to that information. Here's the best and easiest way to do that. When somebody says, what do you got? Say, I've got a private group on Facebook that's going to change your life. What? How's a Facebook group going to do that? Because you said you don't sleep and you said you wanted to fix that. Well, I want to show you a couple of articles about a ton of people that have fixed that. If I added you to that group, would you take a look at it? If I, would you? That's where you start in with a little swagger. That's where you're not just saying, I'm going to give you everything. It's going to be, I'm going to play a little hard to get. If you do something, I'll do something. If you don't do something, you can keep not sleeping. I've got value here. If I give it to you for free, there's no value to it. You perceive it to be not important. If, and I don't know if I'm going to just yet, but if I was to give you access to that, would you do something? Yeah. Give me. What do you got? And then you get them onto Wellness Simplified. You can add them into that group. First, you got to be friends with them on Facebook. You add them into the group, and then you tag them, do a search, find whatever it is they're dealing with, find the 4,700 articles that are out there about people that this has helped them with that issue, and tag them in there for the ones that you think will resonate with them. Well, Casey, they're not on Facebook. Then go into Facebook anyway, find all of those same articles and copy them, taking a screenshot with your phone, and send that to them. Okay, see, they don't have a smartphone. Then print it out and mail it to them. So overcome the obstacle. Get them the information by pointing that to them. Well, am I the one that's... Yeah, you're going to send it to them, but it's not going to be coming out of your mouth. You knew a guy. You knew the information. You're sending them information. Then when they start asking you 8,000 questions, you don't have to be the one to answer them, because as soon as you ask one, the moment that you are unable to answer another question, you have lost all credibility with them. If you'll just go up front and say, I'm not the person that's going to answer all this, that's going to disrupt their day. Everybody's used to being the guy that knows the info. When it's not about you, you're just, look, you're my friend. I'm just saying, you got a plumbing problem, I know a plumber. You got a dishwashing problem, I know a plumber. You got an engine problem, I know a mechanic. You got a roof problem, I know a roofer. You got a health problem, I know somebody can fix that. You got a wealth problem, I know somebody that can fix that. You got a time problem, I know somebody that can fix that. You're not happy with your skin right now, I know somebody that can fix that. And it ain't you. Stop making it about you. When it's not about you, it's about the process. When it's about the process, it can scale faster than you can possibly fathom. And when it goes that fast, you will see an explosion in your life that you have never seen before. And it is fun. Because when it's all said and done, what's really, really fun is the number of people that you will be able to impact by doing it this way. You will be, there is a clock going on right now. There is a game clock going on in your life right now. You've got so many minutes on this planet. In my opinion, the one that has the biggest impact on the most people is the one that wins. That's how I operate. That's what it comes down to. So if you're out there being the guy that has the information, how many people can you get that information in front of 30 minutes at a time? There's a certain number. You can do the math, figure that out. For all you analytical ones out there, you're probably on a calculator right now. Now, I can tell you I can reach a whole lot more people if I train 32 people on this concept right now. I can reach a whole lot more people than who I can go hit by myself. Would you agree? That's what this business is about. It's about taking this process, it's about taking this concept and duplicating it. And it will duplicate faster, it will scale quicker, it will wrap around this planet 50 times if you'll let it. If you make it about you, it will not. It has a cap, it has a lid on it. That lid is you. Do you have a part to play in this? Absolutely. You're the trust. There's only so far that this automation thing will go. It's high tech, but it's also high touch. The high touch is in the conversation in the beginning, in the building of the rapport so that they know that you're human. People don't get that. Who here likes calling into AT&T, Comcast, or I don't know, that's enough to irritate anybody right there. How much fun I get on there and my kids start giggling because I am cussing at the phone trying to get their little voice recognition to understand how pissed off I am that I'm not talking to a human yet. And every once in a while, I'll screw up and try to click their little buttons and I get in a loop. I'm done. Imagine when you call somebody and somebody picks up the phone. Isn't that a novel approach? Guess what? Everybody else likes that too. And when that person gets on the phone and you can actually listen to them and hear what it is they want and not trying to sell them something, guess what? You're disrupting their day. They're not used to that. People don't get this. They think that it's whoever can have the most and the loudest and the most obnoxious pitch is going to be the one that's going to get it. Unless it lines up that day specifically with what they're looking for, it ain't going to matter. And chances are you're not going to hit the thing that they want to know. So ask the questions. Have that personal touch with them so it's high touch right then. That does not have to take a long time. Build the rapport with intent. If you're not sure how to do that, then start off by asking them questions with the acronym FORM, F-O-R-M. Ask about their family. Ask about their occupation. Ask about what they like to do for recreation. Ask what their motivation is. And when you do that, you'll start building trust with them. And when you build trust with them, people will they can't help it. They're going to share things with you. And the thing that they share is most likely the hot button topic in their brain. And there's a good chance, if you're a good listener, you will hear the phrase, I don't know why I'm sharing this with you. That lets you know you're doing it right. Because you're not bumping your gums. You're letting them bump their gums. And when they do that, they will tell you everything you need to know about them. And if they don't, you can ask a couple of key questions here and there, and they will definitely tell you everything that they want to tell you about them. Get good at that. Some people say, Casey, it's a whole lot faster doing this other thing. No, it's not. You will get a couple of low-hanging fruit, but it ain't going to duplicate. And you will be irritated and miserable. Yes, that's right, Elaine. They will start telling you some of their deepest secret. You'll hear stuff that's like, whoa. Here's why. People want to share that stuff. They don't get to. Why? Because the other person is so busy wanting to talk. They want to talk about what's important to them. If you watch two unaware people having a conversation, and when I do rarely go out for lunch, I like doing this and watching this with other people they can't interrupt the other person fast enough. They're constantly waiting to hear any little opening that they can get in and tell about their thing. Why do they do that? So they can sound important. Who are they sounding important to? To themselves, to their own ego. The other person's not listening to them either. They're looking for that person to take a breath so they can jump in and start telling their part of the story. It's ridiculous. All right, let's see here. We got a couple of comments. Yep, good. Okay. The same thing applies. Everybody good on that on the customer side? Sarah, let's go back to Sarah. Did that help? Sarah Noble? I'm going to unmute you. I'm going to attempt to. Thumbs up if that answered what you were asking in the very beginning. Okay.
I think that was other Sarah.
Was it? I'm sorry. It was Sarah Smith? Apologies. Thank you. You're looking like, what the hell are you talking about? All right, I'm looking at the other Sarah. Sarah, did that make sense?
Yes, it did.
Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, any questions before I jump on to another topic? I'm just really just going to be talking the other side of what I was just saying, but on the business side. But any questions on that or any comments on that? No, everybody good? Okay. So places that you can send them, things that you can pass them to. The best one, the easiest one is Wellness Simplified. Wellness Simplified, for our folks that just got started, and I mean literally just in the last couple of days, that is a special Facebook group. It's a private Facebook group. It's got, I think it's over 60,000 people in this group now. It's closed, so you have to be invited into it. So it's gone viral. And in that is a tremendous amount of testimonies that people have experienced with the product. They tell their story. They tell what they're dealing with, and they tell what this has done for them. And it's extremely powerful. There's nothing more powerful than if you're dealing with something and you see somebody's story, their video or their, they typed out their story, and you can, I tell everybody, their BS meter is tuned in. You know when it's somebody that's doing a script or when it's something that's real to somebody, especially if you watch a video. And when you see somebody laying down the truth on what this has done for them, and you are dealing with the same issue that they're dealing with, and you see 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 more examples of the same thing, one after another, that gives you a level of proof that will get you to a point where you will take action. Our ultimate intent is that they are going to try this product. We want them to try it. We want them to be a customer. It has a money-back guarantee on it. All they need to do is get it down their throat, and the product will do the work for us and for them. And when they see that, and you all are here because you've seen that to a certain level, they get the proof that they need, and they're all in. And it's okay if they just want to be all in on the product itself and they don't want to do the business. If they don't want to do the business, they don't want to do the business. You want to talk them into doing the business, not because you're looking to get another business partner to make more money. I hope you're doing it because you understand the mathematics of the fact that you can't go reach 200,000 people yourself. But if you find enough people that will try this and enough people that want to help other people, then when it helps them, they're going to take it to the logical conclusion that says, you know what? I got a duty here. I've got an obligation. Somebody thought enough of me to share this with me. I've got some people I need to share this with as well. If more people on this planet would be in it for not themselves, but for others, we'd have a much better planet. Point that out to them. Point it out to them in the right way. You can influence people when you do that. You influence people by them seeing things a different way. You have to paint a picture. Guess what marketers do? They paint a picture. Watch any commercial. Its job, its intent is to get your mind into that commercial. It wants you to be the star in that commercial. It wants you to be walking on that nice little path or on that nice beach or doing whatever it is that they're trying to influence you to do. We are trying to influence people as well. Hopefully you're trying to influence them to say, why don't you get on board with me and help me spread this thing to a whole lot more people that need it? That's what you're shooting for. That's what you're trying to get business partners for. Are you going to make money when you do that? Yes, that's going to happen too. Get cool with making a lot of money also. But here's something I will tell you. If you're doing it for the first reason is money, people will know that. They will sense that. And when they sense that, then it's going to take that much more proof to get past that. And there's plenty of proof to do that. It's just a lot harder. When they sense, and their sense, again, their BS meter's tuned in. When they sense that you truly have the mission, whoo, it's powerful then. So, gets me every time. Make this about helping people. That's my intent tonight. I really want to get across that what we have our hands on, the timing of what we have, the system that is in place, the caliber of people that we have on this team. If you guys don't push like your life depends on it, you're going to squander an opportunity to make the biggest difference ever. And there's not too many times in my observations and a lot of discussions with a lot of successful people, there's usually 3 times in someone's life that they have an opportunity. A lot of times it's just 2. And I honestly, wholeheartedly believe that this is one of those times. Learn everything you can about what we do, put it into practice, get out of your own head, and get in the other person's mind and influence them that, again, depending on what their interest is, make sure that they know that this is going to truly be able to change everything. If they got a time problem, they don't have enough time to do what they want, this will fix it. If they've got a health problem, there's an extremely good chance that this is going to fix it. It's going to make them feel better, that's for darn sure. It's just science. It's just nutritional science. If they got a problem that money might be able to solve, this thing will absolutely help fix it. If they've got a skincare issue, this thing will fix it. If it doesn't on those fronts, they get all their money back. But don't squander this opportunity. Is it easy? No. Is it simple? Yeah. Can you do it? Absolutely. You just got to give yourself permission. That's one of the biggest first things you got to do. And then you just got to go out and do it. That gets you back to mindset. That gets you back to what the why is. All right, couple questions. Let's see here. I don't just yet, Karen, but I will be putting that together. What questions do we have out there? We got 15 minutes left. Let's get some good questions in there. Any ideas, any thoughts, any questions, what you're struggling with, what's not working?
Hey, Casey.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you go through just some explanation on the leg status, explaining a little bit about what goes in the strongest leg and then the second strongest leg and then our customer leg? Can you go into a little bit of that?
Yeah, I'll give a little chat on that, and then I got another one that several people. Ms. Tanya, question from her is, I have several people tell me they don't have time because they are doing this and that. They think I have more time because I'm retired. What do I say to that? When they say they don't have time, tell them, yes, they do. They just don't have priority. And that's okay. Everybody's got 24 hours a day, 168 hours a week. They can choose to spend that on whatever they want. Anybody that says, I don't have time, first thing is if they say no to this because of time, then they hadn't paid attention, or we haven't done a good enough job explaining to them how our process works. They're saying no because they think something takes a lot of time. What we do does not require the amount of time that they think it does. So that's what I would tell them on that. All right, let me pull up and share my screen.
Casey?
Yes.
Sorry. Yes. Okay. My problem is usually I don't seem to get to that point of showing them anything else, because sometimes it's almost like right away they're like, oh no, I just don't have time for that. Or,
Did you find out what and then chances are that's their trump card. They say that. Here's the other thing. People aren't telling you actually what they feel. They're telling you the thing that they think is going to get you to leave them alone the fastest and hopefully preserve a relationship. That's what they're telling you. And when people say they don't have time, everybody's busy. And so if they say they don't have time, that's their easy excuse. Oh, I don't have time. Now you get all pesky in there and say, well, that's a bunch of crap. Yes, you do have time. Then it's like, oh boy, that didn't work. Alert, alert, alert. They start freaking out and they got to find another way to back away slowly. So you can go and blow them up. But really what's happened is you haven't found something that's really a big deal because it's not important to them.
Okay.
They just want to keep doing whatever they were doing. And then we show up in here and we're showing them something. We haven't found what they want. That's because here's the deal. Have you ever had this happen where somebody first thing it says, oh no, I'm not interested. And then a little bit later, then they're starting, wait, now what did you say? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I'm really interested in that. I've got all kinds of time in the world for that. What the hell? 4 seconds ago, you said you didn't have any time. You weren't interested. Well, it's just stuff I say to people so that they'll leave me alone. That's really the conversation and reality of what happened in each other's head.
Yep.
All right. Karen's question was about the points and how that all works. Karen, more on the QV side. Is that what you were thinking?
Yes.
All right. So for everybody, and especially our new folks, what I'm about to show you is for extra information. It's for extra information that will be useful to you. But if you don't figure this part out right here, don't feel like, oh my goodness, I can't go out and do the business until I get that completely figured out. That's not the case. I want Power Hour to be about those key 6 things, but I also want it to increase your skills so that this will continue to duplicate. So that's why we're going to go into QV. So QV stands for qualifying volume. So here's you. You just got started. Let's say you did the $599 package. And so what that means is you have 500 points. My 10-minute warning. So you've got 500 points of QV. And then let's say you reach out to your best friend, Bob, and you start having a conversation with Bob. Bob's got some interest in earning some additional income. His daughter Susie's getting ready to go to school, whatever. And you say, Bob, you want to fix that? So Bob says, yeah, what do you got going on? I said, Bob, I got a guy you need to talk to, and or a girl you need to talk to. So, okay, yeah, well, to put him on. Gets put on, goes through the process. Bob says, I'm all in. Bob decides to come in, says, what package did you come in? Oh, you did $590. You know what? That makes a real good sense. I understand. I'm going to do the same one. All right. And Bob says, you know who would be really good at this? My daughter, Susie. Let's go ahead and get her in too. So Susie comes in, 500 points. And then you have another conversation with somebody at work. They're getting tired of their boss, and they decide that they want to come in too. So Chuck comes in, and Chuck comes in at the big package at the $12.99 because they wanted to get the Fluoresce and the skincare, or the Fluoresce and the nutraceutical. And so that counts for 750 points. And then you talk to Dave, and Dave looked at it and says, yeah, you know, this does sound pretty good. You know what? I think I probably want to try it first, though. the 60,000 people in Wellness Simplified wasn't enough to convince me that this product is good enough. I'm actually going to want to go and try it first, because I cannot possibly make a recommendation about something unless I absolutely love it, because they've never made recommendations about other things, whatever. So, but that's okay. I get it. I understand. So they come in, and that's Dave, and Dave is a customer. Okay. And Dave gets a triangle of health, and it's got 75 points. And then there's Grandma, because her arthritis is acting up, so she wants to get on the product too. All right. So let's say those come in, and you decide to be a customer too, and you go ahead and do the potato pack with the plus pack. So you're a customer. All right. So there's 250 points in customers as well, but this is QV as well. So you got 250 here, you got 750, and you got 1,000. So if you add this all up, what rank are you? So what you do is, the first thing you do is you add up all the points that you've got. All right. So you're looking at 1,000, 2,000, you're looking at 2,500 points. Okay. And then what you do is you look at your outside of your largest leg. And so here's your largest leg, because that's got 1,000. So if you look at the rest of it, the next number is going to be Chuck, you, and these other points. So you're going to have 1,500 outside your largest leg. And then when you look at the small leg, you're going to have 250, you're going to have 750 in that. All right, so you got 750 in your small leg. So if you look at all of that, what does that mean? Those are the three numbers. People say, well, what do these three numbers mean? The easiest thing to do is these numbers are used to calculate your rank. For you to hit Jade, you need 2,000 points total, and you need 800 outside of your largest leg. So if you look at this, you've got 2,500, so check mark there. And outside your largest leg, you got 1,500, so check mark there. So you've at least reached the Jade level. The next level you want to look at would be Pearl. And Pearl requires 5,000 points total, 2,000 of which are outside your largest leg. So if you look at that, you have not reached that rank, because you only have 2,500, you don't have 5,000. And in the outside the largest leg, you need 2,000. You haven't done that yet. You're 1,500, so you haven't quite made it to Pearl. Okay, so in that case, you've made it to Jade. So that's how you go about calculating that. Now, in the interest of time, anytime that you're getting close to making it to a new rank, the easiest thing to look at is, I bring in a new person at 599, that's 500 points, and that's going to start making numbers move rather quickly. And you can look in your back office on your dashboard, and it'll show what the existing points are. And then it'll also tell you in a small number how many more you got to hit to be able to make it to the next rank. So they put each of those numbers stacked underneath each other, and then they say how many you need to be able to hit the next rank. You look at that, and you figure out at 500 points apiece, how many people do I need to bring in to be able to hit that? So to hit Sapphire, you need 10,000 points total. 4,000 of those need to be outside your largest leg. So what does that mean? So here's you, and I'll make an easier example. You need approximately 12 people in that leg, 8 people in that leg. If you do that, and they all come in at 500 points apiece, here's how that works. Altogether, you need 10,000 points. So if you've got 20 people at 500 points apiece, you've got 10,000 points. Out, which of these is your smaller leg? Well, you got 12 here, you got 8 here. So 8 people, that's the smaller one, 500 points apiece, that's 4,000 points. And I discounted you in that one. I didn't put your points in there. So there's actually 500 more points if you came in at the middle package. If you do that, you are a Sapphire. Average Sapphire earns over $1,500 a month, and you've got a check mark for one of the 2 months, not consecutively, but just 2 months in your lifetime that you hit Sapphire before they start sending you $1,000 down payment and $500 a month towards your dream car for the car qualification. That's pretty powerful. So when people look at this, they say, cool, I just need to go get 20 people. That is not a true statement. Well, it is a true statement, but it is not the accurate one that we are trying to get you to do. What I am trying to get you to do is I want this to be you. And let's just make this easy. Let's just say you went out and you got 2 people. All right. And then let's say this person and this person each went out and got 2 people. And then let's say that this person right here went out and got 2 people, and that person right there went out and got 2 people, and that person right there went out and got 2 people, and that person right there went out and got 2 people. So at that point, you got about 15 people. So this person goes out and gets 2 people. That person just gets 1. That person gets 1. This person doesn't do anything, doesn't do anything, doesn't do anything. And this person goes out and gets 1. And you now are a Sapphire. It's not about you. It's not about you in the beginning, and it's not about you once you get your business started. It's about you helping the other guy find out what they want, show them how Kiani's going to get it for them, get them plugged into this thing, and help them understand this person right here, it ain't about them either. It's about these 2. This person right here, it's actually not about them. It's about those 2. This guy right here, not about them. It's about those 2. If they'll keep looking at making it about the other guy and the people they know and help them, this thing takes off like wildfire. When you're focused over here going, what do I have to do to find 20 people in this business? That's a whole lot harder. It's a very tough road to hoe. And here's the deal. You might be able to bring 20 people in a month yourself. Seen it happen a lot. You might even be able to make it to Ruby, which is 25,000. That's 50 people coming in. You might be able to bring 50 people in. But guess what? You ain't going to bring them in next month. And you ain't going to bring them the month after that. You don't sponsor your way to these upper diamond levels. You duplicate your way to them. The way you duplicate your way there is you have a system that duplicates and scales. For it to duplicate and scale, it cannot be about that guy. It can't be about that guy. It can't be about any of these people. It's got to be about the system, the backbone that's behind it. That's the secret to this business. And that works out good for that being the end of our time. All right, back to the screen here. Give me a thumbs up if that was helpful tonight. Sweet, 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 sweet. Very good. All right, well then I'm going to end the recording. I appreciate everybody jumping on. Our next Power Hour is going to be this Saturday with Mr. Spencer Wynn. It's going to be from 10 a.m. Central to 11. And you'll be able to find the details on that on our Power Hour page. If you don't have that information, get with the person that invited you here, and they will add you to that group. That's where you can get the replay of this presentation tonight and all the other ones that we have done. A lot of good information out there, so feel free to jump on that. And here's what I'd like to request. We had 31 people here tonight. Here's what I want. On Monday, I want 62 people. Okay? Here's how we do that. Each one of you is responsible for bringing another person. All right? So that is your homework. Between now and Monday, I want you to bring a new person to this. Now, they can already be in your team. I'll allow it. But I want this to grow. I don't want it to have a lid at 30 or 40 or 50. I want to hit triple and quadruple digits on this thing. And that's going to happen by you guys stepping out and bringing somebody to the table. All right? So bring somebody on Monday. And I'm not going to say you can't come if you don't bring anybody on Monday, but that's quickly approaching. Okay? That's quickly approaching. I want that to start. I want results. I don't want you guys coming in here in this nice little warm, cozy blanket. I want you guys doing something and bringing somebody. All right. But we're going to start pushing that. So Monday, bring me somebody. I appreciate you guys jumping on. I'm going to unmute the lines, and y'all have a fantastic evening. Thank y'all for joining.
Thanks, Casey.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
You guys.
Is this a reasonable place, Casey, to bring out a relatively hot prospect with a clue or not?
Not usually. I mean, they're more than welcome to come to see what it's about. But from a presentation perspective, there's definitely better things for them to be able to see. If they're asking about training, what type of training, say, come on, let's go. You can come to Power Hour. I'll show you. But as far as they'll get lost in here if this is their first exposure.
If they have a clue, though, I think seeing the system would probably push them right over the
Yeah,
edge.
yeah. If you got a veteran, by all means, they're going to want to see that anyway. They're going to want to know. So
I
yeah,
think for me, that's a difference maker.
Yeah,
First,
yeah.
let me
Yeah.
let you-
yeah. If they're far enough along on that, if they're evolved enough for that, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yes, sir.